I was sitting here the other night, rather enjoying myself, and I was playing with a little Nintendo. This is Big Brain Academy, which is a great little tool that lets you really think hard at problem solving. And I was playing with this, sitting up in the cockpit, and a daughter and her dad came past, and the dad was chatting. He pointed at the ship's wheel and he said, "Carbon fibre," and I said yes, and he was pretty impressed. A father of the mechanical age, carbon fibre, cool. But the daughter pointed at the little Nintendo DS, which is wireless, touch sensitive. You blow on the screen, it notices, fabulous thing. And she said, "Animal Crossing." I said, "No, it's Big Brain Academy." And she went, "Cool." So here's a 9-year-old going past, impressed that a fat old professor is playing sort of mind games, on a pocketable piece of kit. Now, I tell you, we ignore that at our peril. Kids that are fascinated by learning enough to want to play it on their consoles. Wow, that was the holy grail, 20 years ago. Hey, it's just happened, I was talking in Thailand a couple of years ago about how important phones were going to be in learning, and said, look, the next day it was front page headlines on every Sunday newspaper. You can't imagine that happening here. It's happening in Southeast Asia because people are so ambitious for learning, but also they're just looking and they're saying, well, I'm not sure we need to build 19th century schools first and then try and get them right and then move forward. Why don't we just move forward now? And people are being very brave with what they're doing. And clearly a phone isn't a book, it's not poetry, it's a special thing. But I'll tell you what, it's a very powerful piece of kit. I ran a really interesting project called Eviva, where we had children using the phones for examinations, for assessment. At the end of their year, beginning of the year, we asked them, what is it that you know, and how ambitious do you want to be for your learning? And I'll tell you what, they're always more ambitious than we thought. we thought they should be. And they always got there, of course. So then at the end of the year, they do a Viva. Their phone rings, and they're asked tough questions on the phone. They defend it, just like a PhD, except these are 14-year-olds. And it was absolutely spectacular because they all outperformed our expectations. But they love very much the ability to defend their learning. And the key thing was, because they knew this tough call was going to occur at the end of the year, all the way through the year they were thinking about their learning. That learning about learning, that reflection, was an ongoing process, and that was what accelerated them. That's what made the difference. It was very, very effective. So we ignore these things absolutely at our peril. And I mean, if we'd have been doing this interview in 1986, and I'd have said, well, my dream is that everybody will have a computer in their pocket, and they'll have a wireless network that will allow them to communicate with the whole world, and rich and poor will have them, and children in Afghanistan will be using them, and you'd have thought either A, I was mad, or B, we couldn't afford it. Well, now we've got all that, and blow me down, we're confiscating the bloody things. It's like, oh. But smart schools aren't. Smart schools are embracing them, and smart kids are too.